Have you ever noticed how some Senate investigations start loud, then suddenly disappear from the news? Today we're breaking down three major Senate probes that once shook the headlines but eventually stalled. Let's begin. The Bell-Kenz Pharma probe. The Bell-Kenz Pharma investigation began with explosive allegations. The company was accused of recruiting doctors, even shareholders, to prescribe its medicines using a supposed pyramiding-style marketing scheme. This included incentives like commissions, bonuses, travel perks, and even luxury items, raising serious ethical concerns about patient care. Bell-Kenz executives were summoned to the Senate. Senators from both the Health Committee and the Blue Ribbon Committee grilled them, demanding answers on alleged quotas, incentives, and conflicts of interest. For a while, it looked like the probe would result in major reforms or even sanctions. But as months passed, updates became fewer. By mid-2025, the Senate had not released any final findings. While some ethics complaints were filed against individual doctors, the legislative side of the investigation appeared to lose momentum. The case showed how a high-profile issue can fade, even when public outrage is strong. The flood control project's investigation. Next is the Senate's probe into questionable flood control projects worth billions of pesos. Reports surfaced about ghost projects, favoritism in awarding contracts, and projects with allocated budgets but little to no actual construction. The Senate Blue Ribbon Committee opened hearings and called out certain contractors and officials. Some were even cited in contempt for evading questions. Despite the scale of the controversy, the investigation stretched on without clear resolution. Months passed with no final Senate report and no major policy recommendations released to the public. This is one of those cases where the issue was huge, but the follow-through seemed to stall. The Pharmally COVID-19 procurement scandal? The Pharmally scandal was once the most explosive Senate investigation in the country. It involved allegations of overpriced PPEs and medical supplies during the height of the pandemic. The hearings were dramatic, executives were arrested for contempt, documents were scrutinized, and senators clashed openly on live TV. But here's what many people forget. Despite the massive attention, the investigation itself stalled when a majority of senators refused to sign the final report. Without enough signatures, the probe could not be officially adopted by the Senate. In other words, after all the hearings, testimony, and controversy, the investigation simply faded without a formal conclusion. Why do these Senate probes stall? When you look at these three cases, a pattern starts to emerge. Some probes stall because of politics, senators can't agree, or pressure from powerful groups slows things down. Others get overtaken by formal criminal investigations, making the Senate's role smaller. Sometimes the issues are so large and complex that they drag on indefinitely. And of course, when media coverage dies down, the urgency fades too. These stalled probes, Bell-Kenz Pharma, the flood control ghost projects, and the Pharmally scandal, show us how easily big issues can fall out of the spotlight. So here's the question for you. Which of these stalled investigations matters the most, and do you think any of them will ever be revived? Let me know in the comments. If you think accountability matters, hit like, subscribe, and share this video. The more we talk about these issues, the harder they are to ignore.